this is Mitch with iFunnel, and today I'd like to just give you some quick information about mortgage lead generation, specifically when it comes to the nature of generating high quality leads and understanding where those can possibly come from and how they can come into your business. What you're looking at here is a mini chat report of a campaign we're running right now for first-time home buyers. This type of campaign, so here a little refresher. In the past, there were several months ago, I had completely written off Facebook advertising as a viable lead generation source for mortgage professionals. In fact, I shifted my entire business primarily into running pay-per-click ads, setting up landing pages. It's a very involved process to go that route. It's fairly expensive. It's worth doing if you can do it right, but it cuts out a lot of loan originators from the process. And not only that, it was there's a misconception that's being made in saying that the traffic can't be right. There's humans that are using Messenger and that are using Facebook. Some of those will be ideal for the business, but unless you ask the right questions to understand which ones are ideal, you are going to inevitably put yourself in a situation where you're dealing with consistently less than ideal prospects. So here's what I mean by that. Since we made this page and when we've been running campaigns on this particular page, we have 62 leads that have come in, and they're all through chatbot sequences. So these have been properly, the ones that have decided to engage have been properly segmented into which ones have already found a home, where they're looking for a home, what type of home they're looking for. We've learned if they've already spoken with a mortgage professional or not, or if they're actively speaking with one. So we've learned things about this audience that if we were using Facebook lead form leads, which is in the past what we used whenever I wrote off Facebook leads as a viable means of generating leads on Facebook, we're using lead form leads. There's no conclusion to come to other than the leads are crap if you use lead form leads, because they're all treated the same. Of these 62, I can tell you right now about 10 of these have said that this is the specific home that I'm looking for. I'm not working with a mortgage professional. They've answered all the questions. They've gone through the whole process. A lot of these are quality for the realtor because you have to understand their window of opportunity is much larger. But in terms of business for the loan originator that has hired me to put this in place, about 10 of the people have said that they're ready for that conversation. Now, a lot of those other ones that were ready to talk with a realtor and actually find property will soon be ready for a conversation about the mortgage end of it. But unless you ask the right questions, you don't get that information. So if we would have, let's do a little hypothetical situation. If we would have generated these same 62 leads using lead form leads on Facebook, we would have their name, their phone number, and their email address. So we would be following up with all these people, trying to get in touch with them, but we don't know anything about what's going on with any of them. Very few, if any, are ready right this second to do anything. But since we don't have any additional information, we are trying to call them on a phone number that has nothing to do with anything they've seen before. So basically what they're doing is they basically, with a lead form, if you're familiar, if you've ever run ads that way, what happens on Facebook is basically it's a form that's automatically filled out with information the person has used to create their Facebook profile or their account, period. So it'll have their email address, their phone number, etc. Well, what's funny is I had written this off and then had a client that came to me and they said, hey, I need a lead generation source for some of my referral partners in the business. So I said, okay, since I had been working with chatbots, over the last year, a significant amount of my energy has been spent learning about chatbots, learning how to configure, develop, and implement them in the right way, because it's not just chatbots and AI that's taking over. What it does is it provides benefits on both ends. So you have to look at it from the situation where you have borrowers who are looking for information, and if you don't if you don't understand what it is that they're looking for or how you can help them, then you're trying to call them and get them to go through this manual process, and it's just not the right way to do it. You can automatically do it, but it also it makes it easier for borrowers to get the information across in a systemized way that helps you understand, segment, and target that audience. But it also does the same thing for the loan originator. So it also helps them because they're not having to spend extra time to try to figure out these things. So if we would have generated the same 62 leads as lead form leads, my client would have come back and said, these are shit. I don't want you to run any more of these because they're no good. And of course, that would have been the feedback because there wasn't proper questions being asked. There wasn't segmentation that happened. And one of the beautiful things about MiniChat and what I've been doing here lately with these campaigns, basically this experiment and taking on this customer account has given me the opportunity to re-explore some of the assumptions that I was making previously about Facebook advertising when it comes to mortgage leads. It's not that the leads are crap, it's that the questions that you're asking are crap, and you have to create a bot system that systematically qualifies, and then as they answer your questions, it will tag and help you understand who is at what position along their timeline. Then you can provide specific value to these people to help them through the process. If you don't do that and you collect them all as leads, you try to call them from your phone number, you're not going to get a hold of people. When you do get a hold of them, they're not going to be wanting to talk to you. And it's because you're calling them on a different platform than they called you with to begin with. You haven't asked the right questions to begin with, so you can't understand enough about the person to put yourself in a position where you can actually help them. Chatbots solve that entire problem. Whenever I first took on this project, I was thinking that maybe it was my theory that maybe I had written it off a little early. And now after testing, I know for a fact that I had written it off early. The problem is not the leads. The problem is the questions that you're asking of the leads. The leads are just leads. What we get in life is a reflection of the questions that we're asking. And if we're not asking the leads the right questions, then we're going to get crap leads because we don't understand what's actually happened with the leads. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Market segmentation and asking the right questions is the key to your success in the mortgage business, particularly if you're using Facebook ads, because these people have not shown intent to obtain mortgage financing. So really what the objective of the communication has to be with these people is to understand where they're coming from, where they're at right now, and as a result of those answers, you can start to learn where they're at and how you can help them navigate the process. Now, I'm also doing this for reverse mortgage leads, and what I find is that older people are much less likely to answer any questions. Some of them do, but most of them, when I ask, we have some questions we need to answer. It's like something to the effect of, there's a few questions that we need answers to in order to help you through this process, not that exact wording. Would you prefer to do it here, aka in Messenger, or would you rather talk to somebody on the phone? Everybody who's answered that question says talk on the phone for the older group. If they're 62 years or older, you can almost guarantee that they will want to talk over the phone. Well, the beautiful thing about Messenger is that you can call them directly in the Messenger app. You don't even need their phone number. So it puts you in a position where you can reach out to the people the same way, actually more effectively than you could have with the lead form leads, because with the lead form lead, you're basically calling the person on a phone number which they gave you because they wanted information about this thing, but they're not going to be in the right place that you need them to be in order to have a conversation. Some of them will, but if you follow up with them all the same way and treat them all the same, you're not going to get any results. It just doesn't work that way unless you're super good. I do have a couple clients that have managed to figure it out, but you're spending so much time following up with people who don't need to talk to you right now that you're putting yourself in a bad position. So just understand that market segmentation is the key to generating mortgage leads with Facebook ads, and MiniChat is a fantastic answer to that. I do have bots that in place that are running right now that can help you do this. If you're going to do first-time home buyers, I highly recommend that you have a realtor in place to kind of run this with. They basically take on all the upfront leads that are not ready to talk about mortgages, and the ones that are, of course, you can get involved. These are much better for like reverse mortgage refinance, things like that. People who have a wider window of opportunity. It's like if you already own a home, right now is a perfect time. For instance, it's almost the end of September. Right now is a good time to mention the holidays, refinance opportunities, way to consolidate debt and have money for their holiday vacations they've been planning, whatever. There's a lot of things that can be done. Just understand that it's not Facebook advertising that's the problem, or the traffic that comes from that. It's the questions that are being asked and the segmentation that's happening as a result of those questions being asked. Again, Mitch Smith at iFunnel. I hope this has been insightful. If you have any questions, give me a shout.